Howdy whiskey folks, this is Leon here, Whiskey Web, bringing you another whiskey review. And today I'll be tasting Laphroaig 10-year-old. I'm very excited about what's coming out at Shelter Point soon. We have the Smoke Point, which is aged in ex-Laphroaig barrels. It was actually the Laphroaig quarter cask, I'm led to believe, that was in those barrels before we aged our spirit in them. But, you know, Laphroaig 10, I thought I'd give it a review just to reacquaint myself with the delicious flavours of Laphroaig before the Smoke Point comes out, hopefully in a couple of weeks. Today's the 2nd of August, so maybe we'll get it out mid-August. I think we're just waiting on some labels and stuff. But Laphroaig 10, absolute classic, should be a staple in any serious whiskey collector's cupboard. The 10-year-old is probably Prince Charles's favourite whiskey, so I'm led to believe. So there's only 2 distilleries in Scotland that have the royal designation. So this one's got the Prince of Wales badge on it. I think the other one's Royal Bracla. So they're the 2 with the royal assent, so to speak. Laphroaig was established in 1815 on the Isle of Islay. I was actually there in 2015 for their 200-year anniversary. And if you ever get to go to Islay for Fescila, definitely go to Laphroaig. It's a really interesting visit. They smoke their own barley there. Really good tour. John Campbell, great guy, distillery manager, and they're very passionate about what they do, and they're very good at sharing what they do with everyone. So yeah, Laphroaig's definitely right up there, one of my favourites. The thing I like about Laphroaig as well, they're not ashamed of who they are. They know they're one of the boldest, smokiest, most peatiest whiskies out there, and they challenge people to come up with expressions for how they feel about Laphroaig. And I remember like having this whiskey with my mum, and she was like, "Oh, that smells like BO. Oh, I could never drink that." You know, just like these very strong reactions. I guess it's kind of like the Marmite of whiskey, either love it or hate it. And I'm definitely in the love it camp, because when I smell those salty sea waves filled with iodine, band-aids, medicinal smoke, it just takes me right back there to that wonderful time in Islay. 10 years in ex-bourbon casks. Oh, takes you on a journey. It really does. The sea influence, the caramel from the bourbon, the intensity of the flavour, but there's a sweetness to it as well. You've got the smokiness, you've got the sweetness. It just lingers. And I've tried this one at cask strength as well, and it's definitely like even more rambunctious. But this one, even at 43%, it's got it all. It just it's like a peaty explosion in your mouth, and you're in a happy place after a couple of these. Oh wow. Yeah, they know how to do it right on Islay, that's for sure. And yeah, Laphroaig often trips people up with the weird spelling, but don't let these weird spellings of whiskies intimidate you. They're just being authentic. They're just being who they naturally are. And a lot of the Western Isles, a lot of the Inner and Outer Hebrides, there's Gaelic-speaking folk there. So why not be true to your roots? You know, like Bunnahabhain, Laphroaig, Avangerg, all these distilleries on the Western Isles. Just, yeah, they are who they are, and they're not trying to be modern or different. I mean, like, I can't remember Laphroaig ever changing their labels or their bottles. I mean, this is just classic. And often when they rebrand and you get these like different modern versions, you kind of lose something. You lose some of that like original feel, you know. Yeah. This whiskey, or something very similar like the Laphroaig quarter cask, is why the smoke point is so good. Because we've basically sucked out some of that Laphroaig flavour from the barrel. It used to have Laphroaig in, and then it's beautifully paired with our whiskey, which is quite sweet and barley sugared, and it's just made this beautiful combination. So this has really helped Shelter Point to get to a beautiful peated whiskey in a shorthand method rather than going through our own malted barley and aging it ourselves. This has allowed us to get there a bit quicker. So grab yourself a bottle of Laphroaig, 10-year-old. There's probably one already in your cupboard, but yeah, just make sure there's always one. So, Slanjava everyone, enjoy.